Is abuzz with rumors about potential DLC coming to The Witcher 3. Yes, you heard right. The Witcher 3 is getting new content. And just for measure, the Blood and Wine DLC released nearly 10 years ago in May of 2016. So what are we talking about today? Well, there have been a few articles and a few content creators have touched on this. However, just to dispel any of the clickbait you may have seen, as of the time of this video, there is no confirmation of new Witcher 3 content that has come from the mouth of CD Projekt Red. However, there is evidence that suggests some of the rumors might be true. We even have a potential release month of May 2026. There's also plenty of reason to doubt that this is happening, but let's lead with the evidence. The main two pieces of supporting evidence are CDPR's 2025 Q3 earnings report and a financial analysis from December. The earnings report details all the things you'd expect, but notably, the Witcher 3 portions are understandably slim. The Witcher 4 is obviously the next big confirmed financial event coming out of the Witcher franchise, but even at the earliest prediction for that, it's a 2027 release window. And it seems after the Witcher 4 release, we'll see production for the Witcher 1 remake ramp up. And this brings us to Fool's Theory, a name that gets brought up several times during this earnings report. And if you're unfamiliar with that name, they're a small Polish dev team. Most recently, they created a game called the Thaumaturge, which is kind of an investigative gothic fantasy CRPG that's set in 20th century Poland. I thought this was a pretty cool game. I did an entire playthrough it on stream. I'll link that below if you want to check it out. But the reason Fool's Theory is getting brought up in a CDPR earnings call is because in addition to currently helping on The Witcher 4, they are also the devs that are working on The Witcher 1 remake in Unreal Engine. And part of the rumor is that they are also the ones that will be doing The Witcher 3 DLC, rumored to come out in May 2026. That time frame is important because remember, revenues from the Witcher franchise are slim at the moment. However, at the end of the base report, right before the Q&A portion, and forgive my pronunciation here, Peter Nalubowicz, the chief financial officer, states, the earnings conditions for 2023 to 2026 was set at 2 billion PLN in cumulative net profit. So this means between 2023 and 2026, they expect to make 2 billion PLN, which is the Polish currency, which is roughly about $550 million. After 11 out of 16 quarters, 700 million PLN, about $192 million, still remains to be earned to reach this target. Although it is a very ambitious goal, we believe that if things go according to our plan, we have a fair chance of reaching it. Given our current progress, there is a chance that new content hinted upon in recent calls and reports may see release in the coming year, having an impact on our results and increasing the likelihood of achieving the earnings conditions for the first stage of the incentive program. So, CDPR needs to make $192 million in 2026. The rumored price of the DLC is $30, meaning they'd have to sell about 6.4 million copies at that price point. The fans absolutely love this gaming franchise, so I don't think they'll struggle to hit these numbers. There's another excerpt that comes from the Q&A portion of this report. I hadn't heard many people talk about this particular quote, but I felt it was important because it does concern the current and future role of Fool's Theory with CDPR. This is Michal Nowakowski, one of the joint CEOs, in response to someone asking how many people from Fool's Theory are currently working on The Witcher 1. He says, in terms of Fool's Theory, I think we stated in the past that the majority of the team is currently involved in the other project and also supports The Witcher 4. So there is some limited team working on The Witcher 1. This again lends credence to the idea that most of Fool's Theory's resources are preoccupied by some unknown project, and when you pair that with the previous statement of a hinted project that's hopefully going to generate $200 million in revenue, well, now you can connect the dots. And Mateusz Krzyzanowski, an analyst at Noble Securities, seems to be doing just that, as he states in an article. We expect the next paid add-on DLC for The Witcher 3 to be released in May 2026. We assume sales of 11 million copies at $30 each next year. We estimate the production budget at 50 million PLN. the release should kick off the proper marketing campaign for The Witcher 4. Now, while this may be the most direct statement about the DLC, it comes from an analyst who's in the finance sector and has not been cooperated by any CDPR insiders. And that's really the main bits of evidence we have so far. In my opinion, if any of this is true, I'm curious, what gaps does this DLC seek to bridge? Are we going to find out if Geralt is going to play some role in The Witcher 4? Is there going to be some lead up to Ciri taking the Trial of Grasses? Are we going to find out if something has happened to Ciri's abilities, as they are noticeably absent in the trailer? As for my reasons to doubt the rumors, aside from a very atypical 10-year stalled DLC release, CDPR has recently pivoted to using Unreal Engine. The Witcher 3 was built on their old Red engine. However, we know even though Fool's Theory has been working with the Unreal Engine recently, there are some former CDPR devs within the studio, and I imagine they may also be familiar with Red Engine. Another reason to doubt is that it's kind of weird that we know about The Witchers 4 through 6, The Witcher 1 Remake, Cyberpunk 2, and a multiplayer component to Cyberpunk 2. However, we don't know about a project that supposedly is releasing within the next 6 months. There could be an Oblivion-esque remaster situation at work. There could also be just an independent release that uses the Witcher 3 title, but the client is actually separate from the original game. My final thoughts on everything: The Witcher 3 is a phenomenal game. The DLC is phenomenal. Personally, I'm a Heart of Stone guy over Blood and Wine. Gunther O'Dim is such a badass. I would love for all this to be true, even if it came in the form of something like Thronebreaker or the Thaumaturge. I'm all for more Witcher content at the end of the day. However, there is still an information gap regarding Ciri being a Witcher, and that gap does need to be bridged, whether it's in the early gameplay of The Witcher 4 or it's through this hypothetical Witcher 3 DLC. It's definitely information that the fans want to know. And with that, I leave it to you. How do you feel about the rumors? Would you be excited to revisit The Witcher 3? Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Links to everything that we discussed will be down below. I appreciate your time. Hope you have a wonderful day. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay chill, keep it real. Peace.